How's it going today, ladies and gentlemen? So I saw a video actually that raised concerns, but this has been something that's been going on for quite some time. It's quite some time, okay? That I guess the Earth have to go through these changes. I don't know, maybe to fix itself, or I don't know, maybe it's a creation of the new Earth, and also, well, there's a lot of human scientific measures, okay, to alter the Earth. Okay, but the earth is going to fix itself out. I think the Most High is going to stretch his hands out and revert the earth back to where it needs to be. All right. Of course, you heard about these storms and all that. Okay. Maybe some are probably modified, a lot of these hurricanes or whatever, but they just been a lot of these like hurricanes or tornadoes just been off the chain. Okay. Wildfires in California. Okay. Even up there in Chicago. I just saw a video about that just now, okay, or up in Canada. Okay, as cool as it is up in Canada, and then they got wildfires or whatever that's stretching across Michigan and Illinois. Okay, flooding up there in Venice. I'm not saying Venice, but up in Vermont. Okay, where I think it's a Burlington or Montpelier. The main city up there is looking like Venice, pretty much. Okay, furniture and mud everywhere. Even here in Las Vegas, where they had part of that storm in California that happened at the beginning of September, made it down here, and they had Las Vegas Boulevard looking damn near like a river. Okay, and it floods bad out here. Don't get it twisted though. It rain out here. Okay, not very often, but when it does rain, it pours. And the drainage system is pretty good, but it had to be built. But there's still a lot of places where the drainage and all that, okay, it doesn't catch up in the many places, okay, or like in the outskirts or whatever, okay, depending on where you're at. If the drainage is not good enough, okay, that it's gonna cause severe flooding. Just look at some of the pictures, okay, like on the strip or whatever. Particularly like if you go around like the link, if you've been there, okay. So let's talk about this flooding in New York, okay. I saw this on various channels. They had the streets. They were talking about like 6 feet of rain in some places in New York. Okay, the subways are flooding. Okay, and so forth. I've seen images of that. People, the public transportation riding down streets in New York, and they got water on the floors and all that. Okay, kids out there playing out there in the water, and the rainwater done tapped into the sewage system. Okay, so it's basically like feces and pee and so forth in the water. Okay, it's contaminated. All right, and again, this is something government designed, I think partially, okay, a big part of it, and something that's been going on for many years. You know, it's really bad. Okay, pretty much got New York looking like Venice. All right, that is speculated if you really had a bad enough storm, the whole East Coast would be underwater, particularly like Miami and New York, those cities. Okay. In fact, in Miami, they was talking about building like a wall at the beach, right behind like the where the beach is, South Beach. Okay, for a certain amount of miles from the north to south to protect Miami from being flooded out. Okay, there was serious talk about that at one time. All right, and I think that if they are able to do that, if that becomes in fruition, then they know that something is going to happen. Okay, like those, for example, those levees out there in New Orleans that were left alone, okay, until that hurricane happened, what, in 2005? And there was even reports of people witnessed the levees being blown up automatically, okay? Like I say, this is something done by design. But I've been telling people this for many years in New York, that the glaciers in the northeast, I think it's Nova Scotia and those provinces up there, that they are melting because of global warming. Okay, and what it is doing is trickling not just water, but the colder weather further and further down south. Okay, and that's something that I've known like 20 years ago. Virginia, for example, where I'm from, I grew up in Norfolk, Hampton area. Okay, uh, if you guys know, like in Hampton, if you've been there before, like Buckrow Beach, for example, okay, which my mom actually lives right down the street from there, okay, where I used to go out there, fishing, and they used to have like an amusement park out there as a kid, you know what I'm saying, to go out to the beach and chill out, that type of stuff, okay? Well, I had a science teacher when I was in high school that said, this was like in the latter 80s, that said 100 years ago that where the beach was, those were cornfields. So the beach was probably about maybe, I don't know, 250 feet more land than it is now. So I know when I was living out there that they had to put more sand to the beach out there, okay, to keep the beach from eroding for anymore, okay. And it's my understanding they had to do the same thing out there in Virginia Beach as well, okay. If you've been there before, they did quite a bit of extensive work on those hotels out there in Virginia Beach when I was out there, I don't know, like a year ago. So, yeah, again, it's been colder down there in Virginia, and it's particularly like in North Carolina. If y'all been to the Outer Banks, it's out there freezing out there. It freezes. They get hurricanes out there. It's a lot of freakish weather that wasn't there like 40 years ago. DC is getting dumped with snow a few times, like in 2010, and then just a couple of years ago when the 95 up there was backed up for about 40 miles because one end of it, I believe 95 north from Fredericksburg to DC was snowed out. They was out there for like a whole day. So if you end up like in Fredericksburg, you going north, you might want to gas up before you go to DC in the wintertime, whatever, because you never know what may happen. And pay attention to those weather reports, okay? Particularly if it's snowing out there, okay? You don't want to be like those people. Actually, the Senator Tim Kaine was caught up into that, okay? That day. So, this is something that could potentially happen where New York could end up getting flooded out. I know y'all seen plenty of those movies, okay, about those type of natural disasters that could happen in New York, okay? Snow could bury New York, some type of storm with some type of wave or whatever that could destroy the city, and flooding, okay? Really, though, I think the government tells you what they are capable of doing, and they could do what they're capable of doing. So that's my take on that or whatever. I hope many families are safe. All right. I don't know how many casualties that they had, but I'm pretty sure there's some. My regrets go out to their family. Okay. And be prepared. Stock up, y'all. Okay. Stock up. If you got to leave, leave. Help out as many people as you can. If they don't want to be helped, then just go and move on without them. All right. Thank you for your time. And stay tuned for the next video.